Okay, so I've never really done a video like this before, so please don't judge me. I don't really know what I'm doing, but basically in school for our kind of like final English project, whatever, our teacher asked us to search a problem that we think is a big deal in either our community, worldwide, whatever. It's very general, and then try to put forth a solution for it. And it's very general and it's a lot easier said than done, but basically I decided that there's this huge issue of stigma behind mental illnesses and mental illnesses in general, and that people aren't informed of how common they actually are, and how big of a problem suicide really is. It's the second leading cause of death amongst people ages 15 to 24 in America, and that's a huge statistic. That's insane. And the fact that people don't even realize that people in their own school could be trying to kill themselves at any moment is a big problem, and the fact that people are still extremely rude and inconsiderate all the time doesn't help either. So I think that it's important to inform people that mental illnesses are very real and they're very common, and anxiety and depression are extremely common amongst the people around us in the hallway. Okay, so basically, if you stumbled upon this video, welcome. And for my project, I decided that I was going to interview one of my best friends who has struggled with anxiety and depression for a long time, and now she's really open about it and open to helping others. And she's just going to explain her story and how she's dealt with her mental illness. I don't think that a lot of people realize that if you are sitting alone in the dark, it is perfectly normal and it is okay to get up and ask somebody for a light. Life is hard. It's really hard. And if people tell you that it's easy, they're lying to you. But just because things get hard doesn't mean that you can't really keep going.
14, so the end of 8th grade, and I felt off. I didn't know like what was wrong, and at the time I didn't know anything about mental illness.
And how do you think that you hid it for so long?
I really didn't know what it was, because no one really ever educated me on it, and I mainly found out about it from my friends having issues or on Twitter, social media.
How do you think that it would have played out differently if somebody actually did educate you on mental illnesses or how to even prevent them?
I definitely would have been in a better place earlier than my senior year of high school, because all through high school it was really tough for me to go through having mental illness on top of high school in general. I struggled with self-harm for a while, a long time, and it got really tough. And it's not that I wanted to hurt myself and stuff like that. It's just I wanted to feel something other than not happy. You know what I mean? So it was definitely a coping mechanism, not a healthy one. There's so many healthy coping mechanisms, but I just didn't know them at the time, and that's why therapy helped me. And my therapist was really nice, and at first I started out twice a week because I was at the point where I was really not okay. And my therapist, it's more about not talking about things that you're going through or things that are going wrong. It's more about appreciating yourself and methods to cope with how you're feeling, and methods to like meditate, like, oh, it's just a teenage problem, but then the mental illness itself blows it out of proportion. So then it's a totally bigger thing. Whether it's a small problem or not, it's always going to be a big problem with mental illness.
Exactly.
Because you can't think any other way.
Exactly. Do you think that it's possible to even like teach parents that grew up in a whole different generation that these kids are struggling and they're seeing things on the internet and it's a whole different world for us, and these parents aren't understanding how their kids are feeling or even thinking that their kids actually could be extremely suicidal everywhere?
Even my mom told me, like, when she was a kid, she had awful social anxiety, but again, they weren't educated. They didn't know what that was. They didn't know that anything was wrong with them. They just thought like, oh, everyone goes through this, and which is what I thought when I was in 8th grade too. You don't have to try.